Welcome back, everybody. Council, are we ready to continue our proceedings? If we are, please proceed.
Good afternoon. We're ready to proceed, Mr. Chair. Kindly bring in the witness. Thank you.
Thank you.
I, Baboucarr Jatta.
I, Baboucarr Jatta.
Do swear that.
Could you do it again, please? Maybe raise the microphone. Raise the microphone closer to him. We need to hear him swear. Yes, okay. Thank you.
I, Baboucarr Jatta.
I, Baboucarr Jatta.
Do swear that.
I'll speak the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God.
You may be seated, sir. Mr. Jatta, welcome back to the TRRC.
Thank you very much.
You are one of the few people who have the privilege of coming for a round two.
And I'll come back again.
Let us make round two a very truthful testimony. Mm-hmm. You know the rules. Mm-hmm. It is an offense to lie under oath in this country. Mm-hmm. It is also an offense to provide false testimony to the TRRC. Okay. Do you understand?
I do.
Remember the slogan, the truth shall set you free.
Roger.
Let that be your guiding principle.
Thank you.
I want a yes and not a Roger.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Mm-hmm. And again, I just want to reiterate the importance of giving a disciplined testimony. We just focus on the questions asked, and you answer those questions. You understand?
Yes, please.
You and I have previously met, so obviously no introductions required.
No.
And since you've testified before the commission, there is no need to go over your biographical information in order to establish who you are. We already know who you are. Right. So now let's cut the chase and go straight to the issues. Okay. We want you to talk about two important things, or if I may say, three important things. Right. The most important one is April 10, 11.
Good.
We would give you an opportunity to say something also about the death of Usman Korosise, just the little bit that you know. And also we want to talk to you a little about the junglers. You understand?
Correct. Yes, please.
Thank you. So now tell us about April 10, 11, 2000, what happened, starting from the day before.
The day before, I had no clue of what was going on, but we got an information from the Secretary to the National Security Council, my permanent secretary, Esakan. He is the permanent secretary to Defense. He alerted me that there will be a meeting for the NSC, National Security Council.
At this stage, what was the composition of the National Security Council?
It's been chaired by the Vice President or for the President. We have the Inspector General of Police, the DG National Intelligence Agency, myself, and we sometimes co-opt the Finance Minister and Attorney General.
At this stage, what was your position?
My position in the National Security Council is as Chief of Defense Staff. Let me just clarify one issue here. There are two things going on. I am appointed as Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces, not Chief of Defense Staff. But on another letter, I will sit in the National Security Council as Chief of Defense Staff.
Point noted. In any case,
wow.
At both periods, you were head of the Gambia National
Armed
Army.
Forces. Yes,
Gambia
please.
Armed Forces.
Yes, please.
Good. Proceed, please.
So we were all set ready for the meeting, but it did not hold. By 3 a.m. on the 10th.
This would be what day?
On the 10th.
On the 10th,
That was the day
early
of
in
the
the morning?
demonstration, yes, 3 a.m.
All right, proceed.
I got a call from the Inspector General of Police that the meeting may not hold.
Who was that person at the time?
Rex King.
Thank you. Just allow me to finish my questions before you start responding.
Okay.
We have to avoid the overlap of speeches. Thank you. Proceed, please.
Was Rex King. He told me that I hope this meeting will hold because I don't think this meeting will hold because the students intend to demonstrate. I said, where? He said, maybe around Serekunda area. I said, I could back you up. I'll use the National Guard. He said, okay.
And what do you mean by that?
So say, if he needs some more men, because it was in the night, I can send, because Fajara Barracks, National Guard, I have almost up to close to 50 police officers who were with us during the amalgamation from the defunct TSG.
You wanted to use military personnel to support him,
yes,
correct?
the police who are now military personnel.
That's right.
Then military personnel to support him.
But even at this stage, did you consider the legality of what you are talking about?
Well, we were told that that barracks has to be have another assignment under limited police powers. It never materialized until 2000, after the student demonstration, it was enacted.
So at this stage, it was not made law for the military to participate in intervening on civil strife, on civilian matters?
No.
Then why did you make the undertaking to back him up?
I'm going to back him up. In the event, when the police come, I'll withdraw.
But you knew that this was not a military matter?
No.
You did not at this stage?
And I did not implement it.
Are you sure you did not implement it?
Should he demand, I said, I will help.
But what were you going to help on? Was it within the responsibility of the Gambia National Army to interfere in civil strife, in demonstrations?
No.
It's not your mandate, isn't it?
No, it's not our mandate at that time.
Exactly. Why did you undertake to back him up?
In the event, he has no man. You know, it was in the night,
But
early morning.
So you're saying that if the police cannot do it, we, the army, will do it, even though it's not our responsibility?
If he lacks the manpower at that moment.
So that was your position?
Before daybreak.
Okay. Regardless of the law with regards to your mandate?
Yes, please.
All right. But do you realize that, in fact, you are getting yourself in murky waters? Because you were about to jump into something that was completely outside your authority.
Yes, please.
Proceed, please. So
it did not materialize. But early morning when I was going to work, I decided to pass by the GTTI, Westfield GTTI. I went up to GTTI. I met the police there with some students gathered there. And at the head of the police was Baboucarr or Modu So.
What was his position in the police force?
I really don't know the rank then, but he testified.
My question is, what was his position
in the police?
Yeah.
He was he's the head of operations.
Head of operations, you
of
said?
The police. If my
you said
memory
he
testified. Yeah, he testified here.
Would that be Baboucarr So?
Baboucarr So.
Commissioner for operations.
Then commissioner for operation, yes.
That's the person.
He's the very guy I met at the GTTI.
When did he testify?
Yes, day before yesterday. Yes, day before yesterday. So,
yes,
the bald-headed man.
Yes,
because he testified.
Okay, so now we are clear.
Whether Modu So or Baboucarr So.
We now clear the person you're talking about.
Yes, please. Yes.
All right, proceed, please.
So I dropped from my vehicle because it was getting a little bit messy with the student. But I talked to So to say, please let us know when there's the need to get to. We have Radio Gambia here. I have my men at Radio Gambia. If you run into trouble.
Did you ask him what he was doing there?
Yes, he said, yes, please. He said that they were to pick up point, if I could remember, for Gamsu. And that I saw them disembarking students. But I was not very sure why they were there. But I know that they were there with students.
Did you speak to him?
I did speak to him.
Did you ask him why he was there?
Yes, he said that the students are not supposed to go to Banjul. If I could fully remember.
Did he say anything about Vice President?
No, I did not ask any. He did not tell me anything concerning the Vice President.
Did he tell you anything about a meeting?
No, I should tell him about the meeting of Gamsu. I know about that one. But I did not tell him about the meeting. I just should tell him.
Did he tell you that there was a meeting to be attended that day?
Baboucarr So?
Yes.
No, I know that I was supposed to attend that meeting.
Okay. All right, proceed, please. And the meeting was with who?
At the Vice President's office, NSC.
Okay. Did the students have anything to do with that meeting?
Yes, I learned that they are supposed to be there. They should be at the Vice President's office to be heard.
Who was
the Gamsu student?
Who was to take them there?
Pardon me?
Who was to take them there?
I don't know that one.
You don't know?
Yes.
Mr. Jatta, do you recall giving a statement?
Mm-hmm.
Do you recall giving a statement to the investigators?
Okay.
Do you recall that? Do you recall giving a statement?
Yes.
And if you see that statement again, you will be able to recognize it.
Okay,
correct?
Let me see.
Yes. Could you pass him a copy? And okay, get out. We see it to be passed the same copy today.
Where, Falla? Why is it?
Do you
demonstration? Huh?
Do you see the signature? Take a look at the signature page.
Yes.
It's towards the end of the statement. Okay. Look at the signature page.
That's my signature.
Okay.
I signed.
And you recognize this statement as yours,
Yes,
correct?
yes, yes.
Could you kindly pass it on to the chair?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, perhaps I'll just at this stage request to put in the statement as evidence. Yes, and it should be Exhibit 86, 0086. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Could you pass the statement to Mr. Jatta?
I have
In
mine.
fact, you have your own copy.
Yes, I have
Bring
my
that
copy.
one to me. Thank you very much, Mr. Jatta. Could you take a look at paragraph 4? But on the next page,
Okay.
you would see that you wrote that he said to me that going by arrangements with the GAMSU executive, GTTI, was supposed to be the picking point of the students to the office of the Vice President, H.E. Aissatou Njie Seydi.
Yes.
Do you remember saying that to the
Yes.
investigators?
Yes.
But I just ask you the purpose, whether Mr. So told you what he was doing there. You said no. Did you forget?
Yes. You know, this time we are not talking. I may refer to the students, but not the GAMSU students. You know, there are two things. The executive was to be picked at the GTTI.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
Maybe this was a misunderstanding.
All right.
My question was, did he tell you why he was there? In your statement, you said he told you that they were there to pick up the students.
Sorry, GAMSU students.
Yes.
Executive, GAMSU executive.
Yes, but
Yes,
but those are students.
I say students.
Yes.
No, but I should be specific.
Okay. My question was really more on what he said about the reason for him being there. But proceed with your testimony.
Okay. So I said to him again, today is examination day. What are you going to do with this? Because some of these students may be going to exams. But there was no reaction. I said, that's it. I went to the back. This is from the GTTI, and at the GTTI, I moved back to Joshua.
Did the commissioner say anything about what the students intended to do?
No, he did not tell me.
Did you hear anybody say anything about a demonstration?
That they are going to demonstrate. I was told by the Inspector General of Police.
But when you were
at GTTI.
at GTTI,
No,
did the
no.
commissioner say anything about demonstration?
No, he did not tell me. But I know that this was the information we got.
Mr. Jatta, did you read your statement today?
I should think so.
You read it and then you signed it, correct? All right, and in fact, we also discussed it earlier.
Yes, please.
But if you look at the same paragraph I directed your mind to, you did say the commissioner further buttressed that there were possibilities that the students would go on a demonstration.
At the ground, in the country.
Yes.
Yes.
But I just asked you now
Okay.
whether he said anything about a demonstration.
Oh, okay. All right.
You
Yes,
said
yes, he
no.
talked to me. He also emphasized that
That's
the
right.
student plans to go on a demonstration.
That's right. Then I
Just like
advise you that
Yes.
you listen to the questions carefully.
Okay.
Because if you do not answer properly, it may appear that you do not want to be truthful when it is just perhaps a misunderstanding of the question. All right?
Yes,
So
please.
listen to the question carefully before you go to answer. So from your statement, what you have here, he told you that was the picking point for the GAMSU executive to go to the vice president.
Yes, please.
He further said that, but it looks like that the students are going to demonstrate.
Yes.
That is what is contained in your statement.
Yes, please.
Is that the truth?
That's the thing.
Proceed, please.
Okay. So I moved back while my, how do you call it, my orderly got my vehicle across to the other end of Joshua, GTTI, towards Banjul. I stood there for some time There, I saw the Secretary of State, Mr. Usman Baji. He came and he dropped right in front with where Shaw was. Commissioner
What
Shaw.
time of the day
In the
was
morning.
this? What time? At around what time in the morning?
Before, I think before 8 o'clock. I should think so, around 8 or after, just after 8, I should, that early morning.
Proceed, please.
But I saw them talking, but I don't know what they were saying. So I stood there.
Did you join them?
No, I didn't join them. I was at the end.
Okay, proceed.
I stood down there for a while. Then all of a sudden, it didn't take long. The police started firing tear gas.
You were there
Yes.
when you saw the police started firing tear gas.
The tear gas, yes, I was there.
At this stage, what was the comportment of the students before the first tear gas canister was fired?
They were relaxed. They had been dropped from vehicles. But
Were
could it be they themselves? I saw them, some were dropping, but some were passing.
What was their comportment?
They did not take, they are just very calm down there.
Peaceful?
Very peaceful.
Did they throw stones at anybody?
No.
Did they provoke anybody?
I did not see them provoking the
How-
situation.
Were you surprised when you saw tear gas canisters flying into the group of students?
So I don't know what could be the cause of that, but it in fact affected us. The
Yes,
breeze
but
was coming from
Did,
PTIN.
did the students do anything that warranted tear gas to be thrown at them at this stage?
I don't think so.
Did you see anything that would warrant it?
I was not at the front line there, but I don't see anything that warranted to be fired, to be thrown to them.
What came to your mind when you saw tear gas canisters being fired at the students?
I knew that in the front there could be a problem. Because the minister was also there, the Secretary of State was there too. But just because the gas was coming this way, I decided to leave the place.
Proceed.
Okay. So I left for Banjul. I went to the headquarters.
Let me clarify this again. Which
Okay.
minister was present there?
Secretary of State Usman Baji.
For which ministry?
Interior, for the Department of State for the Interior.
Proceed, please.
So I left the place on my way to Banjul. So as I reached at the Radio Gambia Johnson, where Radio Gambia Johnson connects to Banjul Highway, I slowed down. I saw some vehicles coming from that end. As I reached at the Cape Point Road also, I saw other vehicles coming. So sometimes I wonder, why should one place be blocked, two other places are not blocked? So, but I didn't take it seriously. I went up to Denton Bridge. I saw that everybody is passing smoothly. I went straight to the office. When I reached at the office, I called my men, that is the commanding officers. I said, there is a planned demonstration going on, maybe from my own explanation. I said, today the police and the students may run into riot. If you have anybody coming from Banjul, avoid that area. I called Yundum. I called the camp commandant. He's also double in Yundum. I called Bakau.
Could you tell us the names of those officers you spoke to?
Okay. At one infantry battalion, you have Captain Vincent Jatta. He's the commanding officer. There is a difference between CO and OC.
Commanding officer and officer commanding. Yes.
Below battalions are officer commanding. Company commanders are officer commanding. Platoon commanders are officer commanding. But battalion commanders are commanding officers.
Yes, Mr. Jatta. Thanks so much for clarifying that important point.
Okay. Then at Farafanya, you have Captain Baboucarr.
And he too is officer commanding.
He's CEO. commanding officer.
Because he commands a battalion.
Yes.
Was that a battalion in Farafenye? A battalion in numbers or a battalion in name?
Battalion minus.
Battalion in name, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
We have very few people. And I call Fajara also. I have Captain Ibu Jallo, Cherno Jallo. I called the State House. That was Usman Sonko. Yes. Huh? Then I called the Navy.
And Usman Sonko?
Yes.
Which unit was he heading
State
at the
Guard
time?
Commander. If my memory serves me, at that point, he was the State Guard Commander.
At this stage, let's try to identify all those units that were under your command as Army Chief of Staff or Chief of Defense Staff.
Okay. Let's talk first about my own headquarters. I have the support components element, we call it Gambia Armed Forces Headquarter Camp. GAF HQ.
Okay, HQ.
Camp.
HQ camp.
Yes. These are military police.
We don't have to. You don't have to.
Okay.
Just tell us the various units.
They are commanded by camp commandant.
Okay.
No, that was then Captain Kante, Momodu Kante.
Okay.
But he is in Yundum. What others, most cases, may come through base and if it comes to operation.
You have HQ camp?
Yes. I have one infantry battalion. That's Yundum. 2BN.
2BN?
Farafenye.
That's Farafenye.
Yes. National Guard.
National Guard.
Fajara. The State Guard is under the National Guard.
Okay. So National Guard, you have State Guards also?
Yes, as part of them.
Okay.
Then I have the Navy, MB SAR. Those days we have MB SAR.
And then you have
sometimes
Navy.
Asan SAR also came in at one time, but by 2000, if my memory serves me right, it should be Mahmoud B SAR.
Okay. So that's the light skin SAR as opposed to the dark skin SAR?
Yes.
Okay, good. So
no. The light skin SAR is MB SAR.
Yes.
The dark skin is Hassan SAR.
Yes.
Yes.
So now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 entities.
Okay.
Under your authority.
But don't count State Guard.
HQ camp.
Okay. 1.
1BN.
1BN.
2BN Farafenye.
That's right.
National Guards, including the State Guards, and the Navy.
You got it.
Good. And you had effective command and control over these forces.
Yes.
That's your testimony.
Except the State Guard. There is a parity. I just want to explain something. Not that they are not part of us. We control the men and the weapons. But the logistics, like the feeding, transport, everything is Secretary General.
Isn't that a logistical issue? An arrangement, a convenient arrangement because they are based in State House. Isn't it just more reasonable or more convenient for their food to come from State House instead of from Yundum Barracks or from Fajara Barracks?
They are detached. We call them detached element.
Are the personnel detached?
Yes, once they are with the State Guard, we have less to do with them.
No. Are the personnel detached?
The State Guard is a detached component.
You control the men.
Yes.
You control their weapons.
Weapons.
You control their uniforms.
Correct.
You control their movements.
No.
Who controls their movements?
As a State Guard commander.
Who controls the movement of the State Guard commander?
On a routine basis. Okay. It comes to the unit, to National Guard. But we have no control when we have to say, hey, don't do this, don't do that. Is that clear?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not. Who controls the State Guard commander? Who gives him his orders?
From the State House, from the President.
Was that the arrangement?
That is the arrangement.
So you did not have any authority over the State Guard commander?
No.
That's your testimony, Baboucarr?
Yes.
Don't we would hear other people who have occupied your position before?
Administratively, no. Sorry, tactically, no. Administratively, yes. Because when they need more men, they'll come to GNG and take them to State House. When they have to post people out of the State House, they go to the GNG. But morning routine, where they post their men, where they head to, no.
Of course. You being the army commander, you would not descend to the fray by telling the unit commanders who to post where.
Yes.
You don't do that.
No.
And equally, you would not do it with the commander of the State Guards.
No.
Exactly. So, but functionally, did you have command and control over the State Guards commander?
Yes.
You have command and control over the State Guard commander?
Yes.
That's your testimony?
Yes, whatever I want from them, if I don't call him, I call the unit commanders to say, I want to know, I want this information from the State House. Sometimes we avoid bypass.
Who chooses the State Guard commander?
It should be we, but for the convenience of the president, he chooses the State Guard commander.
Have you ever been in a situation where you chose the State Guard commander, and of course you would get his agreement?
Yes.
But would you be the one choosing the State Guard commander?
I should be choosing, but when he fires them, he doesn't consult me.
Okay, proceed, please.
So, why did we stop? So I want all of them to say, avoid Westfield area as much as possible. You know, at that time.
And did you warn the State Guard commander?
Yes, please.
Why did you have to warn him?
Because the people are also going to leave from Banjul coming to Serekunda, and their duty is to stay put.
And you did so also because you had command and control authority over him?
Yes, please.
Proceed, please.
Yes. So, for those, maybe when they could call upon their own men to avoid that area, because there's some activity going on with the students. So it looks as everything has gone down. From there on, I thought I may be going to the meeting at the Vice President's office, but I think I was the only person available. The DG was nowhere to be found. The IG said he was busy at his office with this demonstration. So what I did was I informed the Jabate that his protocol officer, that I am at the office. Then, after some time, we had this movement at the arch. They said the students have entered Banjul. So I told my deputy, why not go and find out what's going on at the arch and get down to where the police were. I called Resking.
What was the name of your deputy?
My deputy is Lieutenant Colonel Momodu Baji. He is the present National Security Advisor.
Is he known by any other name?
Sankare.
Proceed, please.
As he moved up to the arch, he met up with the students down there coming in. But then he did not leave early. So I also left to say, let me go down to that place and see what's going on by myself. And I told the IG, I am going down to where the students are now with the police. So I left. I met him at the arch. I told him, you go back, put up something, let's see what we can do. Keep the units on standby.
What do you mean by that? Put up something?
Yes, draft something. That's for the unit to be on standby, because we don't know where we...
What were you talking about?
Warning order.
Warning order.
Maybe you may understand it as operations order.
Exactly.
So, but it's written there. When we say
something, we wanted to know the name.
And we say fragmentary. Fragmentary means warning order, which doesn't carry a nickname or a code. Put the men on standby. 1, for our own defense. 2, should the need be, to deploy at any moment. That should say that we are anticipating.
Deploy to do what?
Maybe to help the police, who knows?
But you
Because our arrangements are
you had told us before,
yes,
that really that is not a matter for the military.
Yes, but we do train on IS, internal security. We do train on drill. But then over the time, we've lost control of that tactics because we never knew.
Let me ask you, Mr. Jatta.
Yes.
Unless a state of emergency is declared, do you think the army would have the authority to deploy to address an internal issue?
No.
They don't have that authority?
Yes, but when the authority was given for you to deploy, you will deploy. But here...
we're not talking about the law.
Okay. No.
If a state of emergency is not declared...
It's not declared.
Would the army have the authority to deploy to address civil strife, demonstrations, students doing disorder?
No, that's the police.
So why were you preparing to deploy
I'm not
in
sure.
a matter that you knew was purely for student demonstration?
Yes, initially I was not sure of my back.
Okay.
11 November has taught us a lesson. And you know, Second Republic 1994 was marked by civil disobedience. I'm not referring to civilians interfering with the military. But once the civilians are disgruntled, soldiers are also disgruntled. Okay. So we were anticipating at any level whatever could go wrong. But this is the norm. When we felt that there's an emergency at one end, we want to keep these soldiers from going home. Otherwise, if they leave, trying to recall them is always a problem. And the only unit you have down on the ground is the QRF. And the QRF, in most cases, is always a platoon. And by doing so, it could be, if there's an attack, sometimes the QRF itself will not be able to move. So we put the whole unit on standby. When things start to subside, we go on half standby, then finally, no more standby.
Proceed, please.
Yes, no more standby.
All right. Let me just clarify one point.
Okay.
We have looked at the Constitution, and it appears that the President can deploy the forces even without declaring a state of emergency. In events where it is required to maintain public safety and security or public order. So it was right to prepare to deploy.
Yes,
Proceed,
and here is a situation like what used to happen at the border. Sometimes, you know, our neighbors are in serious instability. We have some rebels coming in, sometimes going out, and we used to pursue them. So the purpose of maintaining that unit there is for emergency, or if you have to put the entire unit on standby. So this time around, I put the entire unit on standby, but not knowing what to do with it because there's no information, we don't have anything. But we say, let's be on standby and see. Do I go further?
Proceed, please.
So, Baji came back, and I went to the Westfield ground. I got them up at Westfield.
What time?
At Westfield. I met them at Westfield, the students and the police.
What time did you arrive at
I should arrive between 9 and 10. Yes. There I met the Secretary of State, Mr. Usman Baji, was there. Baboucarr, Commissioner of Operations, was there. Sankum Baji was there, and I saw Tatim Baji there, and Baba Job was also there.
Who was Sankum Baji?
DIG. Deputy Inspector General of Police.
Okay, good.
Okay.
And who was Tatin Baji, Landing Baji?
He is the commissioner, I should think, for West Coast, Western Division or what. But he's a police officer. Was a police officer.
And wasn't he CMC at the time?
I can't remember.
All right. Okay, it's all right, no problem. But Baba Job, what position did he hold at the time?
Baba Job was just an assistant secretary of state in the State House. He is the command.
Assistant secretary or assistant secretary of state?
Assistant secretary. Stop there. Secretary, that was too much.
Thank you very much.
Assistant secretary. Thank
Assistant
you.
secretary of state would make him a deputy minister at the time.
Yes.
And there was no such position in Gambia.
Yes. Thank you for the rectification. And two, he was the head of first movement called Movement for the Defense of the Revolution. Then that transformed into July 22nd movement.
What type of movement was that?
A political movement
for the defense of the revolution.
Wow.
Was it an armed group or a civilian group?
They're just a political group.
Okay.
Civilian group.
Unarmed.
Unarmed.
Proceed, please.
What they should be.
All right, proceed, please.
I met him there, but he was armed.
With what?
A pistol.
How do you know? Did you frisk him?
His side was bulky. And when I was passing,
But in Gambia here, may have been judges.
May have
been judges.
No.
Considering this was a student demonstration.
You know what I did? I just passed by hand, knock him from the side to know what he has.
Okay.
And you know, when you have a pistol by your side, it bulges. You cover it, it seems to be a little bit bigger on one side. And I knock him by my hand. I know that was a pistol. But I don't know whether it's a Cal 45, my pistol, or any other Browning. I don't know.
And were you armed?
My orderly was armed. And that is the dress code from the military police.
You had no hidden pistols?
No.
Sana Savali told us he always had 2 hidden pistols.
No.
You did not have any?
At home.
Okay.
But you know, this time around, we never knew that this thing would reach that magnitude. But my orderly has a magazine of 10 rounds, 1 pistol. So that's part of his dress code. That's what he.
So tell us what happened there when you arrived at Westfield.
When I arrived there, I stood there too, seeing what was going on.
Did you speak to the people you found there?
I'm coming. I'll certainly reach that. I met Omar Juf there too. It was there I get to know this was my landlord, Omar Juf. They were my landlord at Bakote, but we call him Batin.
Yes, we can skip that.
Yes. So
proceed.
He was running from one corner to the other, trying to pacify the students or the demonstrators.
How many of them were there at this time?
I know only Juf. I don't know Gamsu.
Could you estimate the crowd at the time?
Yeah, that was more than 5,000. The crowd was big. Very big, but they were there, hands like that. Others have their hands down.
Were they armed in any way, as far as you know?
No.
Did you in fact see in the group people who weren't looking like students?
You know, could it be some of them may have removed their uniforms? But I saw some guys, those people are bystanders and lookers.
Didn't hear that?
Some of them are not students. One of them was an apprentice. I saw an apprentice there.
Yeah.
Those people were there for curiosity. You know?
Proceed, please.
So I talked to Juf. We had a short conversation. I said, "Oh, is that you?" He said, "Yes." Okay. He said, "I'm trying to say this thing has gone out of control because we did not expect this." I know expect this was like running into this trouble with the police and so on. I said, well, let's see what we can do. I stood there with Baba Job by my side, with the minister at some distance. So I said, but what are we up to now? He said, the police are controlling the situation. I said, but the situation is not controlled. Now that you have made contact.
This is your second encounter with the minister?
Yes, after GTTI.
The first was at GTTI?
Yes, this is the second.
And the second time was at... So, and this time it was around 10 p.m.?
Yes.
10 a.m.
Yeah, it should be around that. It should be around that.
So it means that he's been there from 8 at least to 10 a.m.
So all that time he was with them.
All right, proceed, please.
You see. So I told him that at this point we've made contact with the students. Now that you have accepted to go on a negotiation, let's see how best you can improve on the truth. Let's improve on this. Then I started seeing some people coming to join the crowd there.
Okay, let's explain the difference between what you saw first time in the morning around 8 when tear gas was lobbed into the students group and this second time around.
No, that was not tear gas.
But the first time around, what happened to the students after tear gas was lobbed into the
They were running helter-skelter.
It was pandemonium.
Pandemonium.
Were the students being beaten?
No, I did not get to the front down there to observe what was going on, because when the gas started coming, I just left. But I know it was not easy there. They did not find it easy there. At the front there, at the GTT.
Were they chasing the students?
Yes, yes. When the gas was, they started throwing, I saw the students running, and I saw the police running after them.
Which unit of or branch of the police was involved in that?
I don't know which one, but it looks as the PIU, if my memory serves me right. Baboucarr so should be able to distinguish this, but he was there. Could it be a mix?
And Baboucarr Sow, what was his posture when you saw him there? Did he look like an operational commander?
No.
Or did he look like a passive observer?
It looks as he's supervising something or he's trying to arrange something down there.
So he was not a passive person, a person who was just there watching. He was involved.
He was trying to, I think he was trying to arrange his men, talking to them here and there. Yeah, as an officer, maybe when you come on the ground and you saw that you are not happy with the deployment, you assist the junior officer on the ground.
Okay, and this time when you saw him at Westfield, what was the situation?
We were all standing there.
Okay, proceed, please.
And Juf was going from one corner to the other, talking to this large crowd, going round, going round, going round. So I told the Secretary of State, Usman Baji, look, there's so many people coming from that end. Why can't we find out who are these people? But then, all of a sudden, it was taken by events. We did not find out. Then I
don't understand that.
Taken by events, because I was expecting them to find out why this crowd is getting bigger and bigger. You know. But the later part, we got to know what happened. So we were standing down there, nothing was going on. And by the look of things, there are less police officers on the ground. There was no firing, throwing of tear gas, there was no throwing of stones. I said some of the boys were like that. And they were listening to this Gamsu leader. I don't know the others, but I know the others must be around. You see, so that's where things were. Then I looked at it, I said, look, we need to do something with this. How long would we continue keeping these people here for nothing? Because already we've made contact with them. And we need to improve on that contact. Are we going to allow you to stand here talking to them? And in fact, he has nothing to address these people. So maybe at any corner he may be talking to 4 or 5 people with all the noise and so on. Then all of a sudden I looked at the crowd. They were looking at us. They did not touch us. So I just make like that. That's to say, who? And I saw some of them react. I said, what's going on here? Could this be soldiers or what? Or retired soldiers also, but they are not in uniform. No. Or somebody who must have known this military jargons and so on. So I beckoned to them to come. They say, you come. And I move towards them. I moved along with Baba Job. As we approached them closer, they also came. So we practically meet in the center. That was not a long distance. It was from here to the OV van, or a little bit beyond the OV van there. So I said, let's go to the people and we talk. So we went down there. I said, what are you people doing like this? This is over there. They said, no. I said, what's your problem? They said, you picked up our leaders. I said, which leaders? They said, Gamsu. I said, but now, that's one, Juf. Others say, yeah, we know him. Others say, oh, no, we don't know. Why are the orders? I said, sorry, I don't know the orders. Then what's the problem allowing us to take these people to Banjul? I said, in Anglena, you have mile two. So let Egafarek branch off. So we are going to go with them in solidarity. I said, we don't need to reach that one.
What do they mean by that? What did you understand that to mean?
Let's just say, if the police has to pick Gamsu executive to Banjul, they will be with them, they will go with them. You see?
Proceed.
So I said, now it's over. We are not going to go that far with this. I said, well, now Juf has the ground to settle this matter. And while I was telling them, that's Babajo, Umar Juf. Babajo said, yes, it's Babajo. They started booing him. So I said, it's all right. So we can stay here as long as, what do you want again? Then one of them told me, there are so many of them at the Pakunda. I said, doing what? I said, they are there. I said, can I go to the Pakunda? If you give me the privilege, I will go there. And I tell them to come to Westfield. They said, I said, just open the way for me. They said, I will open the way. So I turned around, I told the Secretary of State, Usman Baji, why not join me? Let's see what's going on. Let's get these boys down to this place. And in fact, Baba was telling us that this, Baba made a proposal. Baba or the minister, I don't know. One of them. This is the best venue to talk to these students. Otherwise, where do we take them to? So the minister decided to join me, and we used my flag car, GAF 1. And the boys opened up. Those boys I talked to met their friend at Kanifing coming to Serekunda. They opened up way for me, so I passed. In the vehicle, my driver, my orderly, the Secretary of State Usman Baji, and myself. So as we drove along, we sensed that all these boys coming to Westfield were students. So for that one, we knew that these are students coming to Westfield. We went up to Serekunda Central, take a bend to Dipakunda. 100 meters from this man, Madu contest chambers, Lord Chambers. You know Lord Chambers? Madu contest chambers.
Yes, I do.
100 meters or so above were dropped. There we saw these boys. Yes, now we confirm that these boys were here. So we waved to them. We were waving like this, and we are coming. In between, at a junction down there, an elderly, hefty man came crossing. He facilitated all this. He stopped the boys from making noise, but they did not fire throw stones. So we came. The minister said, would you like to say anything? I said, no, this is your show. You just talk to them because I don't know what happened. He made a very nice speech. Oh, the boys were even clapping. But then one statement went a little bit messy. He did not even learn.
What statement was that?
He said, Nangin hamne deka bi dafa am loi. Hope. Everything was turned upside down. As for me, I retreated to a corridor down there.
What happened? How did it turn upside down?
Oh, they were not happy with that statement. And stones started coming.
From where?
From the students.
To who?
To me and the minister. I retreated to a corner, maybe from here, like to the OV van there. The minister took off. To my vehicle down there, took my vehicle and left me there.
Commandeered your vehicle?
You know, he's my boss. I cannot say he was my boss. I cannot say he commandeered. But yes. At some level, it was like they are almost calling one another with my driver.
He commandeered
my vehicle. That's the right one.
And he ran away.
And he didn't even look at the back where I'm
coming. And he left
coming.
you behind.
And he left me behind.
To the mercy of the students.
To the mercy of the students.
And the stones being pelted.
And the stones were coming. And this time around, they were rolling the stones. So my leg, I was just like James Brown, jumping all over. Michael Jackson. And I have my orderly trying to block the stones. And there came one of my secretary too, a female soldier, Elizabeth Jatta. Formerly then later was Fatu Jatta. She came and they took the bulk of the stones. But after some times, maybe 2 to 3 minutes, a minute or so, I realized two guys, a short guy, hefty, tall, and a tall guy, told them to stop throwing stones, and it ceased. And they told me to come. I came to them. I said, why don't you buy money? And they're going to buy a lohoman. Okay, now let's buy this. Stop this. We negotiated over it, and I said, look, your Gamsu boss is at Westfield. Why can't we go and listen to what he's saying? I think we have reached a deal with them. They were saying, no. But somebody from Westfield came to that place, and he told them that, yes, Gamsu is at that place. They turned around and they told me, well, if we have to go there, there's another group of boys at the mosque at Latrikunda. He said, Latrikunda Yiringanya. Why is Yiringanya? I think that's this other side.
German.
Latrikunda German. At the mosque there. So they said, let's go. Maybe when they see you, they will be convinced. I said, but let's reach an agreement first. I got to make sure that you don't throw stones at me. You don't, you have to provide security for me. If you accept that in return, they said, if there was Omar Juf not at Westfield, what do we do? He said, we'll go to the PIU. We'll form a committee and we'll go to the PIU. But I told him Omar Juf will buy. I said, okay, now let it be a deal. Let's go to Westfield. If Omar Juf is not there, we'll go to PIU. This was the arrangement we made. So we took off. We went up to that same place, Latrikunda Mosque by German, Latrikunda German. We met the boys there. They themselves arranged the boys to come and meet me. At that time, they have just formed a cordon like that. In the cordon is myself and my orderly, maybe the two other guys whom I felt has influence over them. But they hold their arms together in the cordon. So we went. When we reached there, another one again, they said by Africell headquarters. So we went to African headquarters, then we started bending down to Westfield. But at the Africell headquarters, I met the late Musa and he came, he said, get out of the crowd. I said, hey, what are you doing here? You are supposed to be at the central bank. I'll talk to you later. So he turned to Loss, he felt a little bit bad. I saw him move to a corner and he was standing there. I saw George Christensen walking to his FM station. You see, I thought it was just disregard this. But by the time we came, we passed GRTS coming with them. Anybody we pick on the road, we go with them. At Mrs. Ndau,
were you under arrest or were you being protected?
I was being protected by the students. I was heavily protected by the students. At Mrs. Ndau, there was a police officer with this gas, tear gas. He held it at them, and they were there pushing one another. When he come closer, they will run. They'll come. They're not that dangerous. So I said, look, why not bring this boy to join us? Don't touch him. And they told the guy to come. The policeman came, and he was the third person among us, with a tear gas still in the hand. So we came up to, the LG cell station, where they have that guy, Ponka, at LG, by the field there, Westfield Field. We were met with an angry crowd from Westfield, throwing stones, pushing us back. At the same time, I turned to be a liability. I told the boys, what do we do? They were conversing among themselves, said, stop this, stop this, stop this. But one guy came and told us that the shooting has started. I said, no. What shooting? They said, soldiers. I said, soldiers? Soldiers, shooting has started.
By who?
They said, by soldiers. I said, no. If there were soldiers, I'm inside here. I should be given that orders. So
you were surprised to hear that soldiers were on the ground shooting.
That's what the guy told me. The guy was in mufti. In fact, sorry, he removed his shirt. So the boys whisked me through that LG.
But the question is, were you surprised to hear that soldiers were on the ground shooting?
That's what he told me.
I know that's what you were
I was
told.
surprised.
Good.
So they whisked me by that LG corner there, going to the present NAWEC headquarters. We thought we can occupy the other part again, and yet still find out what went wrong. By the time we pop up at that end, stones came. This crowd was so angry. So now,
who were they stoning at?
They were stoning my men, the one I came out with. There is some miscommunication here, communication breakdown here.
But you were supposed to be walking with a group of students.
Yes, coming to
behind you, coming towards them.
Now those at Westfield will not allow us to join them.
They would not allow you or you and the
with
students?
My men, with those students, coming on that marathon walk. So they blocked us. They tried to do everything. It was not possible. So we pop up at that end. It was not possible.
What end?
At the present Nawek, former cooperative.
Yes.
At that end, now there's an old car park. We wanted to come from that end and then see what they can do to stop those people throwing stone, that I am coming. Hop up. You can hear the roaring, the shouting, the stones, and they pushed us back.
Did you have a communication device with you?
Yes, I have my telephone set with me, but you cannot, no call, you can never hear a call from there with the noise and overheat, dust. No, you can't. I always see the number. I can't do much. And secondly, I don't want to cause any form of communication that may cause suspicion, because in the first place, I don't ask them their names. I just recognize them that these are the two people who are very instrumental in moving the crowd. So whatever I want to say, we communicate with those two people. If I had to communicate beyond them, we may end up confusion. They must end up being confused. So when we were pushed towards the Banjul Highway, then at Julbru, I sensed some boys coming from that end, then coming towards end. Now, we cannot go to Westfield. I told the boys, now let's go to the PIU. But before we reach the PIU, not everybody will go to the PIU. It's not possible. Now to stop that crowd, the road was packed to capacity. You can see the dust. So we were going. As we approached the PIU by Julbru Johnson, that Julbru Johnson, all of a sudden, pandemonium. Now, where are the boys I was talking to? They came past me.
What happened?
Pandemonium.
What caused it?
I saw a weapon up there. I knew because of that weapon, the presence of that weapon must have caused that.
What weapon?
AK-47.
Wielded by...
And they must have come from the PIU ground.
Must have or did come from the PIU?
Did come or must have. Take two of them.
I want something definite.
Straight. They did come from the PIU because...
You saw that, you certain that
yes,
it was the PIU firing?
No, they did not fire yet. I saw them moving to form up that line.
Okay.
So these two boys, I said, hey, what's going on?
How do you know they were PIU?
That's what I'm going to say. If we send the police to my barracks at my gate and they fire, we're going to say soldiers. Now let me say PIU, because that's their headquarters. Some of them were in blue.
And which uniform is that?
Blue. That blue is for the PIU.
Proceed, please.
So when this pandemonium started, they started rushing, knocked me. And when I saw the weapon, I said, down, down, down. Nobody listened to me. Now, you see. I went down with my orderly. They knocked me from here up to that place.
Who knocked you?
Students passing.
They were running away?
They are running back. I went down when I saw the weapon. And I was telling them, down, down, down. When you see a gunner shooting at you, go down.
And what did the gunners do?
They came and they started chasing them. But immediately they saw me out of the crowd. Huh? Sergeant Jao, stop. Sergeant Jao, stop. Boom. I had the first shot. Yes, they cased them.
First shot from what?
From there were almost 6 to 7 of them. I can't know how many figures lined up to push the students back.
What were they doing to push the students back?
They fired.
What did they fire?
AK-47, 7.62 millimeter. flying at a speed of 750 meters per second at 3,000 degrees.
And was it automatic?
Single.
Single.
Yeah, single shot, pop, 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 they were all going. And imagine 5 to 6 people have to fire, that could be equivalent to automatic, by virtue of their noise, the noise. When I got from the center of the road going to Banjul, I was crawling to that waterway.
The gutter?
I was finding my way to the gutter. Then when I pop up from the crowd, when they passed me, I heard them saying, Sergeant Jao, stop, Sergeant Jao, stop.
And Sergeant Jao, which force did he belong to?
Those who, could it be him commanding those firing? That's weapon on that day, honestly speaking.
Answer my question.
I suppose there should be PIU, because they came out from the PIU ground.
Proceed, please.
You see. So I came out and stand up. I stood up.
Do you know what kind of bullets they were firing?
7.62 millimeter. This time not blank ammunition.
What were they?
Round, life round.
Good.
Initially it was there. When they were passing me, running, the muscles were up.
And by the time you went down, did you observe where the muscles were? Phone.
Place here. At that juncture, I have no time to do the assessment.
Were they still pointing their muzzles in the air and shooting, or were they pointing their muzzles elsewhere?
Some distance away, I saw the first casualty.
Answer the question.
Down, their muscles went down.
Down at what? Pointed at the ground?
At this range. And they were
Pointed
running.
at the ground or at the students?
I mean, yes, pointed to the students, student area. I looked at them, I say, yes. Thank God. If they had
For
taken,
what?
I would have been killed. If they had taken prone position to maximize the range of that weapon, I would have been dead. But they were running with these weapons, AK-47 cock and AFS, and running with it, which is not, I don't know what kind of tactics is that.
They were trigger happy.
Well, could be I think they are trigger, or not knowing the tactics they are adopting. You don't move with a cocked weapon. You must either take one position, fire, move. Fire, move. But they were there parallel going. When I looked at this, I said, no, these people will not meet me here again. Could it be one of them may not save his weapon, and I'm not going to be in that environment. I'm leaving this place. I came out of the crowd. There, standing like that, OV van, was Secretary of State Usman Baji and the DIG.
Okay. Can you precisely locate their position vis-a-vis the PIU headquarters and the gate from which the PIU personnel who were sitting came from?
Assume that this is the gate coming from the PIU. They were just there 15 meters away.
And where were the people?
I was coming with them.
From which
Serekunda
direction?
and going towards Banjul.
Okay. Where you what did you feel when you saw them?
I saw them and said, well, but I was in the crowd. You left me at the back. These weapons are so loud.
Why did you have to tell them that?
Because the weapons, the noise of blank ammunition and that of a live round are quite different.
No. The question is, you protested to them, didn't you?
Yes.
That you were part of the crowd.
Yes.
Why did you have to protest to them?
I assume that they should know that I was in the crowd.
But what has that got to do with them?
They shouldn't have allowed the shooting. They should supervise it.
So in fact, you holding them responsible for that
As I'm
shooting?
concerned, and I'm holding them responsible. Because these boys wouldn't do this nonsense in the presence of their senior officers.
But when you saw them there before, did they assume control or command and control over these PIU personnel?
No. There was no command.
In your statement, you did say that because the SOS for Interior was there, he effectively was the most senior officer and he was automatically the commander.
Yes, we in the army, we know that command is defined as the opinion of the most senior commander on the ground.
Was he a commander?
No, he's a director. He directs policies, and we as technocrats implement policies. So, if it gets to the crunch, his appointment has precedence over rank. He's appointed as a Secretary of State. We are appointed by virtue of our ranks.
He is not a military personnel.
Yes, but he has a military background. He's still the most senior commander.
But exactly. The fact that he had a military background should not have anything to do with his command authority. Command authority derives from the position that he held at the time.
Okay, if we have to dissect the problem, let's take it that way.
Don't you think that this was also a mistake in what happened there when or the Secretary of State, just by dint of his presence there, is expected to have taken over command of the situation when he is a civilian authority and should not have anything to do with it?
But by virtue of his appointment.
But appointment as minister does not give him command responsibility over any force.
Yes, not that him as a commander to command the men directly, but he could have told the most senior commander there, do this, don't do this.
But isn't that in fact an exercise of command authority?
Yes, it's closer.
So you can't have it both ways. You cannot say that he cannot be a commander and yet he can give command. So it's got to be one way or the other. Okay. He is either a commander or a non-commander.
Okay, you know, I know the military way of doing things. Maybe you are seeing things at a different level.
I'm seeing the law.
Yeah, yes, okay. But we are saying, if there is somebody who is your overall boss at a subject, there's a tendency that when he says change to this, changes may take place. But if I have not witnessed him giving orders, definitely.
Okay. Would the situation have been different?
Okay.
If somebody like a lawyer or a mere politician was the Secretary of State for Interior standing there, would you have expected him to have command authority over the men?
No, he doesn't have command, but when he sees things going wrong, he has to step in.
And do what?
And tell them to stop.
That is different. That is different.
Okay.
That is different. All right? But would he be exercising command authority over the forces?
While they are on operation, he should not. He should be watching.
Should the minister have been there in the first place?
In reality, no.
In your opinion?
In my opinion.
Should he have been there?
No.
So by asking them, or by protesting that, hey, I am in the crowd, what is happening?
Because he left me at Dipakunda.
After commandeering your car.
My vehicle, and he came to the crowd at Westfield with my flag flying, tinted glass. I saw my vehicle at the PIU. That's why I picked up my vehicle. It was carrying him. His vehicle, I don't know where, but then his vehicle was also there.
So your story is the minister was standing there. He should have stopped it.
Yes.
The firing, but he didn't.
He did not. I don't know for what reason.
You fault him for that?
For me, yes.
Okay. Even though he did not have command authority over
the
those
people.
forces.
So he has a say. He has a say as a minister.
As a minister.
Yes.
And would that be political
he
or
supports.
Moral? Politically, yes.
Political.
Or moral?
politically and not technical.
Okay.
Technical.
So proceed, please.
So I came out of it. He told me that there's a meeting at the vice president's office.
No, before you left,
Wow.
did you see any casualties?
Yes.
Tell us what you saw.
I looked at the back. I saw some students lying on the ground towards from the Julburu area towards, how do you call it, Red Cross.
What do you say, Baboucarr, Mr. Jatta, to the suggestion that you in fact signaled to the PIU personnel to fire, and then you ducked before they fired?
Where on earth?
That is the allegation. I have to be fair. I have to put everything on the table.
It was on the air. It was all over.
It was all over.
That I said, down, 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 and they fire. Where on earth? That would be the worst foolhardiness for a man of my status to tell these people fire while I'm within their field of fire. Because at that point of where they were saying, I was telling them fire, fire, that was a good field of fire for the AK-47, which carries an effective range of 300 meters.
We know you have very good knowledge of the ballistics and capabilities of an AK-47.
When I don't know who this gunner is, I don't know whether he's a sharpshooter, how effective he is with that weapon, and tell him, don't fire on me, but fire to that other side. Good.
So you deny that allegation?
I had it all over.
Just answer the question.
Yes,
you deny. Okay, proceed.
Yes.
Proceed, please.
So I picked up my vehicle. I drove to my headquarters.
Knowing fully well that some students have been hit.
There. I will not stay there for fear of the way I saw those weapons being handled. They were poorly handled. So I feel the tactics here could have played a role. Safety number one. Imagine if these people have to turn with this weapon. One of them did not cock his weapon. I say, hey, let me get out of this place. Two, I was so tired. I don't know what to do next. Really, I was tired. And we said in the military.
You were army commander, out of shape, no training. You work from
No, I used to run. I was 40. Here is where we define discipline. That's where discipline drops. One of the tactical definitions for discipline is the art of overcoming fatigue and fear.
Well memorized, Mr.
Yes,
Jatta.
that's why on the regimental line, we say discipline. That guy, I'm with discipline. He's ill-disciplined. He's not obeying the rules and regulations of his commanders.
So what did you do?
So I jumped into my vehicle, and we took off with my driver and my orderly. But my orderly have to rush back to take my headdress off. Leave it there and there. Wallahi. So as I went down to my headquarters, trying to clean up, to attend a meeting at the vice president's office, my aunt, PD Sambu, came running with a radio station, a transistor radio. And I was listening, Radio FM. George Christensen opened up his radio to everybody in this world. Baboucarr Jatta mo ordered this shooting, you know, saying, Lum def su fekken lola def dafa bon. How can that happen within 30 minutes and so? You don't assess the situation to allow people to talk, you open up your radio to everybody.
Did the radio stations state who was doing the shooting?
Baboucarr Jatta.
No, you just told us they said Baboucarr Jatta ordered the shooting.
No.
Who did they say was doing the shooting?
It was in between. They did not say who ordered the shooting, but they said I ordered the shooting.
Did they say who was doing the shooting?
No.
Good.
Soldarami.
All right.
So I listened.
But at this stage, when you arrived at your office, you have heard that there were soldiers on the ground shooting, correct?
I did not hear that.
You just told us that you did.
No, from the radio.
No.
From the crowd, huh?
From the crowd?
From the crowd.
That the soldiers were shooting, correct?
Yes.
You heard that?
Yes, I heard them say.
Exactly.
And I told them that if it has to go by, I have to give the orders.
Good. And then you saw PIU firing.
Yes.
And you escaped death by a whisker, according to you.
A second.
All right. So you decided to go to your office.
Mm-hmm.
What did
Clean
you
up.
do?
Preparing to go to the meeting, sorry. Because I was dusty. I was dirty. You know, the place was very hot too. I was sweating. I sweat. Just to clean up, go to the vice president's office. And I had a 5 to 10 minutes listening to this tape. Hey, transistor radio. You know? When I finished, I went to the vice president's office. At the vice president's office...
What time did you arrive there?
It should be after 12.
Go ahead, please.
I left for the vice president's office. When I arrived, I met at the vice president's office. She was there. The Secretary of State was, Aisha said,
Thank you.
the Secretary of State was there.
Which Secretary of State?
Usman Baji. But I don't know whether he came with Sankumba. I think Yankuba was also there. You see.
Let's get those in attendance.
Antres Ndonjata.
And start again. VP Njai Seidi. Who else?
Antres Ndonjata. I think Yankuba was there. Whether Edward was there, so maybe the vice would be able to tell us who were there. But you know, I told you the other time.
Interior was interior representative?
Yes, he should be there because we all left that place to the meeting.
Who was that?
Usman Baji.
Usman Baji. Okay, and who else?
The secretary was there, Esa Khan, the permanent secretary.
Esa Khan
was there.
And who else?
Those are the ones I could remember.
So how about the police?
On the side of the police, I thought Rex could be there, or a DIG or somebody. But Usman should be able to tell us whom he went down there to the National Security
But we've heard from Rex King, he said he didn't leave his office.
He did not leave his office, huh?
Yes.
Okay, it could be. It could be.
So who was represented?
I know the minister may represent the police.
At some point you told us Sankung Baji was there.
I draw
was he there or was he not there?
I'm not sure.
Okay. You are certain Usman Baji was there?
Yes, he informed me that there's a meeting at the National Security Council, at the office of the Vice President.
What do you say to the suggestion that he was not there?
Okay, let us talk to the Vice President and we see. If those elements are out, who is left now? The Vice must be there with Antros and Jatta, then finish.
You are saying he was there?
Yes, he reminded me.
All right.
So he cannot be absent from that meeting.
Was he present or was he not present?
I assume he was present.
We don't want an assumption.
Assumption. He was present.
Thank you. So tell us what happened at that meeting.
I met them, they were there. I think the meeting was in progress. They were discussing so many issues, also press release. Working out the press release. You know, there was a press release.
You tell us.
Pardon me?
Say, you tell us. I was not there.
They were working on a press release. Towards 1 o'clock. But then, I don't know what happened. The vice told me that, well, I think now you have to come in.
What do you mean by that?
I have to deploy now.
Let's get this straight. Who told you what?
The vice president told me that now you have to deploy.
Deploy what?
Deploy my men to at least control these boys in the street.
Was that an advice or was it an order?
That's vice president's voice to me is an order. If I had told him no, I would have disobeyed. That's an order. Between advice and order. That's an order.
We just after the truth.
Okay.
It was an order according to you.
Yes.
So you're telling us that the vice president ordered the deployment of the army?
Yes. I cannot just deploy by myself like that, just start doing my own thing.
All right. So, in fact, you are telling us that the vice president took command of the situation?
Yes, he's in charge of the situation on the ground here.
And as acting head of state, he was the acting commander-in-chief
Certainly.
and ordered the deployment of the army to quell the crisis.
Riot.
The riot.
Sorry, demonstration.
And from that order, what did you understand you had to do?
Now it's my turn to go down to quell this demonstration.
By what means?
That's an order. By all means.
And what does all means entail?
Deploy my men
And what?
to quell the demonstration.
How?
We are going to go down there, and we do train on IS, internal security. By doing so, we
Mr.
have a
Jatta,
strategy.
let's cut the chase.
We have developed a strategy.
Just tell us exactly what means you were going to use to quell this demonstration.
My main target was not going after the men. First of all, we have plan 1, plan A.
Yes, but we will come to plan A, plan B, and maybe plan C if there was any.
Okay.
What I now want to hear is what means you were going to use and how you were going to do it to quell this demonstration.
I'm going to use the men with their weapons.
In effect, you are going to use force
Yes.
of your weapons.
Force of my weapons for security and blank ammunition, because that's what I have. I don't have shields, I don't have rifles, I don't have gas. So if I have to come,
all right,
we expect weapons to be present with us.
We would come to that. We would come to all that.
Okay.
The means that you were going to use.
Yes.
All right. You're telling us blanks,
Ammunition.
blancos, or blanks or blank ammunition.
Yeah.
Did you issue any order stating that they must use blanks?
Yes, they know. I gave them that we are.
Listen to the question.
Yes.
Did you issue an order to say use blanks?
Ammunition.
Or did you not say what type of bullets they were going to use?
We said a blank ammunition.
You said so?
Yes.
Written?
Because, because even at the PIU, at the TTI, the police were using blank ammunition, and we supplied them.
Mr. Jatta, don't tell us that your men use blanks because the PIU used blanks.
No.
That is not the issue. The issue is whether you gave a written order.
No, verbal.
You gave a verbal order
Verbal.
that they should use blanks.
Yes.
All right? So, but in any case, you know you are responsible
Yes.
for whatever bullets they used
Yes.
on the students.
On the day.
Yes, you accept.
So.
All
And
right.
they went also with live ammunition for self-protection.
So,
It's two things.
okay, they deployed with both live ammunition and blancos.
And blank ammunition.
That's right. Okay, so tell us, proceed please.
Why did I stop?
At this stage,
Okay.
you know that there were already casualties,
Yes.
all right? By use of live
Ammunition.
rounds.
Well,
Okay, so you deployed your men, all right, and you deployed them with both live ammunition and with blancos, blank ammunition, on the strength of the order you received from the acting head of state, who was then Vice President Aissatou Njie Sedi. That is your testimony.
I did that, but that is at my level. He doesn't have to tell me, she doesn't have to tell me what I have to do, but upon the deployment,
Yes, no, my statement is, you did that on the strength or on the basis of the order you received from
Correct.
Madam Aissatou Njie Sedi.
Correct.
That's right. Mr. Chair, obviously we would not finish with Mr. Jatta today. So guide us as to how you want us to proceed. We can proceed until 5, and then we continue tomorrow, or we end now and we continue to tomorrow. there is definitely a lot we need to cover. We are just dealing with the military deployment at the Combos. We would have to finish that, address the deployment in the provinces, what happened in each of those areas, how the army handled the matter thereafter. So we have a lot of things to cover. I stand guided by you. If we proceed with him tomorrow, we may have to do 2 sessions, at least up to noon, I believe.
The 3 items or agenda items you gave at the beginning, April 2000, Korosise, and the junglers, would it take another 2 hours to complete them all 3? If that is it, we can go until 7 o'clock and then finish with him. Or if you think 2 hours would not be enough for that, that we need to finish at 5 o'clock. 5 is a bit too early to wind up the work. We can continue doing that.
Mr. Chair, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that sentiment that sentiments run across the commissioners, but I leave you to determine that. It doesn't seem to resonate well with your commissioners.
You're looking at me, or you're looking at the?
I'm looking at everybody on that table.
I thought you were looking at me directly on that. Shall we continue then until 5 o'clock?
Until 5 o'clock.
Where we stop, then we resume tomorrow morning.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank
Chair.
you.
So, Mr. Jatta, remember already you have told us, you have heard that soldiers were busy shooting. That was before you left Westfield. That is when you returned from Dipakunda towards Westfield. All right? You escaped death from the bullets of the PIU. You went to State House, you went to your office cleaned up, you went to State House for a meeting, and you were ordered to deploy, and then you deployed your men.
Yes.
But I'll take you back a little bit to State House. Could you tell us what other decisions were taken there?
I did not stay long there, but I knew they were battling over what to say over the press release.
And what do you mean they were battling over it?
They are trying to put up something for this press release, you know. Like
were there any arguments?
No. I mean, they were there discussing. Sometimes we used to use the word battle. Is it trying to come out with something for the press release?
Were there any
disagreement? There was no argument. No, there was no disagreement. Yes.
At that stage, were you present when the document, the press release, was finalized?
No, I went back to the office.
Okay. But before the finalization of the press release, did you have cause to speak to anybody on the phone?
Yes. At the Vice President's office?
Yes.
I talked to the President, Yajame.
Tell us what happened.
He called through Jobate's office. And they called me to receive that phone. The first thing he said, "How are you?" I said, "I'm fine." I said, "He told me that I learned that you are in that crowd." I said, "Yes."
He must have received good information.
Yes. He said, "What happened?" I said, "Well, I jumped into the crowd, at least to help and so on." He said, "I hope you are not injured." I said, "No." He was even laughing at me. He said, "So didn't they injure you?" I said, "No." I said, "But these boys are not aggressive." These students, sorry, I said boys. Students are not aggressive. He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "They were just students. We met them, we contacted them at Westfield, and the youth was there trying to help do everything." He said, "So?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Okay." He said, "Okay. When I reach there, we'll see what we will talk." But then we would not talk again. When he arrived, and he came, he saw me at the airport, and he was laughing at me.
Before that, was it after this period, after this
shooting
meeting, this discussion with Yaya on the phone, that you received the order from the Aisha Tunjai, or was it before? Or was it after? Was it before? Yes.
I assume it was no, let me see. After, because when I received that phone, I left straight to my headquarters.
We have received evidence
Okay.
that Yaya Jammeh spoke to the acting president, that is Vice President Aisha Tunjai Sedi.
Okay.
And he said the following to her. I will read it out. It says, "Take care of these bastards in whatever form." That was the order to Aisha Tunjai Sedi.
That was too sarcastic. I did not expect.
Sarcastic or harsh?
Harsh. Maybe I shouldn't expect this from the president.
That was the order from Yaya Jammeh.
Are you really sure he would be so bold enough to say such a thing?
You know Yaya Jammeh better than I do.
So at some level.
Is he capable of using this language?
Yeah, I've never heard him talking to in that house.
It
could be.
Baboucarr,
yes?
You are under oath.
Okay.
Tell us the truth. Is Yaya Jammeh capable of using this language?
Yes. At some level, when he's out of temper, he will use anything.
Yes, so why were you looking as...
No, because he did not talk to me.
Okay.
You see.
All right.
Okay.
So it was after this conversation that you were ordered to deploy the army, correct?
Yes.
And you deployed the army?
I deployed.
With both live rounds
and
blancos?
Live to defend themselves or eventualities. That's the first line armor. When we come out with our weapons, we don't come with empty weapons.
Right.
I'm just trying to clarify something, not that. I want you to take that, just for your consumption. Once we deploy with weapons, and that's our order of dress. Come out with uniform, full dress, weapons.
After your conversation with Yaya Jammeh,
okay,
before you left, did you say anything to the Vice President? Did you say to her what Yaya Jammeh said?
No, I don't think I did talk to her. I think when we were talking, could Ablaye Kujabi be by my side? Ablaye Kujabi, we need to...
Jatta, could you point the
okay.
the microphone
to my
closer
side.
to you? Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
I think when I was talking to him, Ablaye Kujabi was by my side, but Jobate was on his desk, on his seat.
With Jobate?
The protocol to the Vice President. That was where I received the call.
Was there any Secretary of State present?
When I was receiving the call? No, nobody. It was Jobate, who was not even, it's not on speak. Ablaye Kujabi was by my side, yes. And myself, the three of us.
Did Yaya Jammeh speak to anybody else?
From there? I can't remember.
All right, proceed, please.
So
you went back to your headquarters and you deployed your men.
Yes.
Tell us which forces you deployed.
I deployed on day one. That's within the Greater Banjul area here. I deployed 1 infantry battalion. At that point in time, the demonstration was heavy around Serekunda, in Serekunda area.
What time of the day? 1 o'clock, 2 p.m.,
Yeah, after 1 o'clock,
5,
after 1 o'clock.
Remember, you left her State House by noon, 12-ish.
No, I went to the State House by noon.
By noon?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I left.
And you
no, I left the PIU ground by noon.
You got there at...
I went there, clean up to the Vice President's office. So it would be between 12 and 1. Because the press list came on after the news. After the news.
What time?
It should be 1 o'clock news.
In the press release, did it say that the shooting came from the crowd?
Yes.
Were you present at State House when that matter was being discussed for inclusion in the press release? Tell the truth.
Yes, the truth is, when I came, my permanent secretary confronted me. He said, look at this statement. I said, I am from the crowd, but I don't think this could happen there. It could be, but I have not realized this.
So already at this stage at State House, there was dispute over the facts that were contained in that press release, specifically that whether or not there were armed individuals amongst the student group.
The vice president was telling me, you people, I heard him say, you people must tell me something straight. That was why I said, could the IGP be there? But well, she will welcome. But anyway, we know that we, the security, told him. I don't know how, but I don't think, because the vice president is sitting in her office, getting information from us. So he cannot design that by herself. So somebody must tell her that this is what happened.
The issue is whether or not that question was discussed that day.
I heard that one.
It was discussed. Did you hear the vice president say anything about it?
No. But I know it was discussed.
No,
because my permanent secretary
you
showed me
just told us,
Yes.
you just told us, she said, you people, you have to tell me what is happening.
Yes, for the whole operations, that was what he was emphasizing.
Yes. So
Tell me the truth.
Yes. Did she say anything about this particular issue? Whether it should be contained in the statement or not? The issue of the armed people amongst the student population.
Well, all she did was, the answer has to come from us. When I say us, we the security on the ground.
Where did you see anybody contacting Yaya Jammeh about what should be contained in that statement?
No.
You did not see it?
I did not see that one.
Did you leave before the statement was concluded?
Yes. I left.
So you went to your office?
To my office.
So, in effect, what you are telling us is that at this stage, the vice president was aware of the controversy that surrounded an element of the statement of the press release. She knew that this was
written in her
controversial.
Office. It was written in her office.
I accept. But at this stage, she knew that the question of whether the shooting came from the crowd was a controversial issue.
She may not know.
She knew.
I don't think so. If she knew that that was a controversy, she wouldn't allow it to go into the air.
But you are telling us that when you arrived, there was that discussion,
Yes.
whether that was true or not true.
But now we had to end up writing it.
Yes.
Be
So
written.
the question I ask is, was the vice president aware of these discussions that were happening among yourselves?
No, not among ourselves, in her office.
In her office?
Yes.
So she was there,
Yes,
she was
yes,
present?
yes.
So she was hearing all these
Yes,
discussions?
she was the chair.
So therefore, she knew that this question, this issue, was being put in the statement, but some of you were disputing whether that was true or false.
Yes, and we have to come to a conclusion.
Exactly. Okay, thank you very much. So let's move on.
Okay.
You went to your office, and then you deployed your men.
Correct.
Okay, so you are telling us who you deployed. You deployed 1 infantry battalion. How many men from 1 infantry battalion?
2 platoons.
That comprises of how many men? 60,
platoon.
50,
That's
70?
almost 60. They had 60 men at their disposal. 1 infantry battalion, huh?
Under whose command?
Vincent Jatta.
And
Captain
who else
Vincent
did you
Jatta. Late
deploy?
Vincent Jatta. Cherno was on standby to go into Banjul. Should Banjul
Cherno who?
Cherno Jallo at Fajara Barracks.
How many men?
Yes, a platoon.
30?
30. Yeah, 30. A platoon is 29 to 30.
And
Even 32.
who else?
Pardon me.
And who else did you deploy?
On the ground, the Navy did not move. Those are the only people we deployed. Because, you know, you have to consider also camp defense.
All right. And what else?
Yeah.
Other deployments?
I think those were the ones we deployed. I also deployed the recruits when Kotu was threatened. I dropped them. They dropped them because there was a time I was telling Chorno to give me more men. Chorno is saying I can't do it. So it was like a push and pull. My man went to the training school. I said, give me these recruits. Put them in green, boots and T-shirt. No weapon, no headdress. Move to that place and relieve those boys off Kotu police power station. And then in the interim, they came across my sister. They beat her seriously. Before they could realize that that was my sister. Yeah?
Could you speak up so we hear what you say?
Yeah, these recruits were sent to chase these demonstrators who appeared at Kotu power station. My sister was coming from Kotu Middle School. They did not know that she was coming back. She's innocent, and they dealt with her. So bad. But one of the NCOs who went with them identified her, and they had to let her go. You know. But then they had no weapons. If they throw stone, take the same to and return it.
Prior to your deployment,
Okay.
or to the deployment of your forces, did you have reason to write your orders?
I have sent a fragmentary order. At that point in time, these are civil matters. We had no information whatsoever.
These are your words?
Yes.
We have no information whatsoever.
As to what was going on.
As to what was going on. Those are your words, those are not mine.
Yes, yes.
Maybe I should just write it down.
Yes, let's come to this. When I said no information, you can't deploy a military institution without telling them exactly what's in their front.
Yeah. So you wrote...
Because there was a bad blood between me and the DG and I.
Okay.
And I was going to rely on them.
And that
when I turned to the IG, he said, look, I have enough on my head.
All right. So, but then you told us that when it was said that there were armed people among the students, you disputed that fact, correct?
Yes, yes.
You believed...
And by... Yes, I disputed.
And you believed that that was not true. That's why you disputed.
From my own end, because it did not come from my end.
Yes, but what I'm saying
is,
I just you believed that was a lie.
Yeah, that was not the true thing.
Okay, good. But then, in order to deploy your men, did you have to write your orders?
I sent a warning order. That's what.
Who wrote the order?
My deputy wrote the order.
What's his name?
Mot Sankare Baji.
And did he sign the order?
If it had to be signed, it should be done by me.
Okay.
But did you see it in that report?
I would send you this report, and you will take a look at this document and tell us whether it was the order.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, is Exhibit 83 of the Commission report, and I think it's page 202. All right, take it to him. Let him take a look.
This is from my headquarters. But let me see who signed this. Ah, thank God. This is my deputy. 4. Oh, and I countersigned it too.
You signed it?
Both of us.
Okay.
If he signed it, should I be absent before prior to sending?
And you read the document obviously before signing it?
Yes, yes, I should read the
Okay,
document.
good.
Well,
Thank you
yeah.
very much. Could you pass it to the chair so they know which document we're looking at? Pass it to the chair.
What happened? Let me just buttress something a little bit here while this guy is down there. If we fail in an mission to identify a problem to the soldiers, it will cause the worst damage. So here I was expecting to have some civil information as regards the demonstration, because it was that morning. There was no time with the IG to brief me fully while at the NIA. I know something happened between us, I will not go there. But I was trying to get Ablai Barry to help me. But he will always turn and say, no, talk to my boss first. You know, this was our first experience. And I will not go to the boss. So I push Barry, push.
In order to, yes, move on, save time, this is a document we can let you see again. Could you, yes, Mr. Jatta, I want you to read the first paragraph.
Okay.
The paragraph starting with "or force," yeah? That is, okay, or paragraph A for that matter.
Okay.
Up to the end of the page. That is page 202. Thank you very much. And read it slowly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Where is it? We say enemy forces. Early on the morning of Monday, 10 April 2000, the Gambia students in Gamston organized a supposedly peaceful demonstration which turned out to be characterized by wanton destructions of government, parastatals, and private properties. The students, amounting to thousands, were allowed to assemble at the Gambia Technical Training Institute. But when their behaviors was found wanting, the security forces had to use minimum force to arrest the situation. The situation throughout, not mobile. The students, though not mobile, were equipped with some tear gas, stones, and alleged shotguns. You see, their moral was very high during the day, and rumors is rising that they intend to continue the demonstration with the same moment. Ill-discipline, disorderliness, and lack of rule of law has clearly manifested in the students' approach and conduct of the demonstration. One thing also apparent in their operations is that they had a hidden agenda, quite different from the alleged death of one Ibrahim Barry by firemen and the rape of a student of Brikama Bar School. This could be perceived by the use of words SOPI, meaning change of government, an attack on some government installations. All this raised eyebrow and seemed to confirm suspicion that the demonstrations were politically motivated.
Document back.
Shit.
So, Baboucarr, you just said the S word. You are disappointed by yourselves.
I wrote the wrong thing.
You are disappointed by yourself.
Yes.
The raison d'etre
yes.
of this operation was all bogus. It was based on a lie.
Yes. Yes, I take the responsibility.
And let's identify the lies. You told us earlier that the students were well behaved, correct?
When I came out of the crowd, yes.
Yes. And now you are saying that their behavior was wanting.
I wish I could read the document earlier on. Yeah.
You said in the document that minimum force was being used by the police. You knew that excessive force was being used, including upon yourself, correct?
Yes.
That was a lie when it said it was minimum force.
For sure.
You said the students had shotguns. That too was a lie because you disputed it.
I disputed it, but it appeared in our... But in the press release...
let's just answer the question.
Okay, yes, please.
You have disputed here that there were no armed people. You went to Vice President's office, you disputed it.
Yes.
In your operations order, you said they had shotguns. That was a lie. You said they had a hidden agenda, politically motivated.
That was a lie.
To overthrow the government. That too was a lie. It
That
was
was
a
a lie.
pretext to attack the students.
That was a lie.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. It's 5 o'clock. We continue tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Council, and thank you, Mr. Jatta.
Yes.
I'm a bit worried about the use of the S word in this commission.
Yes.
Lowers the dignity of the commission, and especially dealing with the issue of the death, the killing,
Correct.
the murder of young students here in the Gambia. I know it was spontaneous, but I didn't want it to reflect on what goes on this commission here. We would need to maintain the dignity of that one, especially on the circumstances that we are discussing at the moment.
Sure, sure.
We will resume our proceedings tomorrow. Council, tomorrow being the last day of the 8th session, I'm a bit concerned that to have 3-4 witnesses tomorrow could take us all the way to the to 7 o'clock. It wasn't a joke that we could be doing. If we don't do it today, we may prepare ourselves for that.
We would reorganize ourselves and adjust, and we make sure that we wouldn't detain commissioners here until 7 p.m. tomorrow. Nonetheless, we would do our utmost to cover everything that we need to cover. Certainly, that would not be compromised. Be rest assured.
Well,
thank you.
You don't need to encourage us that you wouldn't keep us here, but I think if we need to, we would do that. But there isn't any possibility of starting 1 hour early when we go on?
We can
or what?
We can start 9:30. I can see some. Anyway,
the
legal team does not have a problem starting
Fine.
at 9, starting at 8. So we leave it to the commissioners to decide.
Maybe Baba can tell us also the contract arrangements with the QTV. Can they start early, or the contract, I think, says 10 o'clock start?
No, I think we should start at 10. Yeah.
Fine. We'll see. Council,
what I would do...
We can have this. The reason why I raise it now, we would have it in our post-hearing consultation when we get in there to do that. But I thought if there was going to be some adjustment, we would do it. But Baba seems to take care of that one now. We can't start earlier.
The legal team can do some adjustments. We would just take Mr. Jatta's written statement on the issue of Trrc and on the issue of the junglers. It's not really much.
Well, you may want to go through it, though.
Okay, all right, no problem.
Yeah.
All right,
let's just see. So we won't start then 9 o'clock tomorrow.
9 o'clock?
We will not start at 9. We'll start at 10, since that's a contractual arrangement with QTV. Then the rest of it we would do in our post-hearing consultation this evening. So we will start our proceedings or resume our proceedings tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock sharp. Thank you very much, everybody. Meeting is adjourned.